Welcome to day 5 or day 7, depending on how you count. It's my day 7 on the field. Day 6, according to my calculations, and day 5 in the official program because they do not count the initial opening day as day 1. I'm sure you can tell how my energy levels are depleting over the days. We wake up with heavy headache. I'm saying we because everyone I chatted in the shuttle here experienced the similar symptoms, like a bit itchy throat and watery eyes, because you can literally cut the smoke on the air with a knife. The air pollution is hitting all-time high in Dubai, and the weather is extremely hot. So in a way, it's an amazing place to have a climate conference because it feels like it's taking place in the near future dystopia. It's just like you just want to shout in the middle of the convention and you want to say that, see, this is what is happening if you don't take any precautions. It cannot just be me. I'm sure people are raising similar concerns in these closed meetings. My whole aim for today was to attend at least one negotiation session, and I finally achieved that goal. It was SPI, Gender and Climate Change one. The parties are going over an initially agreed draft, so there are a series of discussions. So there was already multiple changes on a word with track changes on two uh, clauses. The first one was that, like COP should be a safe place um, for women. And then the second clause that's been discussed was gendered climate finance. So saying that the woman, including indigenous women and women from local communities in climate change related forums and dialogues with an overview to promote um, gender responding climate finance and enhancing access. Um, so used to be, I think, like it's a smaller, like shorter clause and saying that just ensuring their access to gender responsible climate finance. And this has been changed. But there have been two different recommendations. One was saying that encouraging parties rather than saying ensuring, and then one country recommended to remove the private sector in that. Countries with significant body of indigenous communities and um, local communities were opposing the word private sector to be in there. They don't want the private companies using this clause and to come to their communities and benefit out of them. One other country specifically said that we do not want, for example, private sector come to our communities, give loans, and ask for interest. So then I was like, okay, the private sector's involvement is not very well welcomed by these countries. I attended another session on global stocktake. I was hoping that there will be some details about the new draft, but it wasn't the case. It was more about like how United Nations agencies such as uh, you know UNAP and FAO and um, UNHCR and UNDRR are actually supporting the global stocktake and what lessons can be learned from a United Nations perspective. So that session was mostly attended by the UN officers. But the most major contribution, the way that United Nations is supporting the GST is UNEP's broken record report, which I've cited in our very first video of this vlog series, pre-departure vlog series, right? So the broken record, which actually shows that, okay, we are definitely not even close being on track on the 1.5 Celsius target. And like the G20 countries are basically contributing to 80% of the global emissions, right? So yes, we are working together as 197 nations here, but the 20 of them is actually responsible of the 80%. It is a very dark take on the Pareto principle. I think another very important report have been launched yesterday by University of Oxford on carbon capture technologies, and their carbon capture institute, I think, who's already working on these technologies, but they calculated that relying on carbon capturing too much is actually much more expensive than investing in renewables in place of oil and gas, because currently the technology is not there, and it's like less than 0.1% of the emissions can be captured at today's capacity. So scaling up that technology will cost much more than renewable energy transition. So I think that was a very timely report, given that today's um, theme was renewables. So the plan for the rest of the day for me is to meet with the British Columbia Minister of Environment. So we will listen the student delegates of UBC and University of British Columbia and Simon Fraser University, and hopefully I will learn a lot from their perspectives. Hopefully the minister will do the same. If I have a chance to talk about uh, the stuff, like the message that I would like to convey is that I'm observing like two separate major anxieties with my students in the last couple of years. It is one, obviously, the climate anxiety, and the second is the AI anxiety. I'm interested in hearing what would the minister say. Talk to you soon. Last day at COPS, at least for me. Tonight I'm leaving to Vancouver, which is day 6 on the official calendar. Tomorrow is a rest day. There aren't any official meetings scheduled. My plan for today is basically wander around and check the cool hubs and displays at the green zone. I heard amazing things are happening here, so let's see. And I will conclude the day with the Canada's environment minister and the head of Canadian delegacies updates on negotiations. This is a system about condensing the humidity in the water, in the air, and make water potentially for irrigation purposes. Cool, right? And there are some other hydroponic installations. So the main platform over the building is actually capable of collecting sunlight and water at the same time. And these ones are separate solar panels and water collectors.
Tanzania, Uganda, to look specifically at the most highly consumed foods in school lunches. And we found the most highly consumed foods are actually refined grains. But when you look at the difference between whole grains and refined grains, the nutritional difference is 6x. With the true cost accounting analysis, we're able to show there is just in 3 countries in East Africa, and just on whole grains, so literally just on one part of the diet, you could get gains of $250 million if you shifted from refined to fortified whole grain. And what's the slam dunk in all of this is that the actual cost for production is the same.
they keep on failing. Bringing us all to the lost and damage. They say they hear us, but they cannot listen. Making promises they cannot fulfill. Bringing us all to the lost and damage. Finally, I'm in my room. Last day of COPS is over. I will pack my luggage real quick and we'll hit the airport for a 16-hour flight. I'm feeling now I actually start to grasp what is happening, where, what to follow. It took me almost 6 days to figure out. It was that overwhelming. And I miss home. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope I helped you to demystify the event even a tiny bit, and I hope I was able to show you what is going on and just give a sense of it, what is happening at these COPs.